In a move that should surprise nobody, MLS is now deciding, it seems, and has been reported by multiple reliable sources, to boycott the Open Cup, the U.S. Open Cup, the not only the oldest soccer competition in this country, but the only soccer competition that is a truly open competition, where members from many different leagues can come together and compete, and where your place at the top is earned by your play on the field and not by whether or not you have some nefarious billionaire willing to bankroll you to the tune of $600 million. The only competition, soccer competition in the United States, professional soccer competition that stands for merit and accountability, where you have to earn your way up to the top to win a trophy by your play on the field, as opposed to being artificially scared, as opposed to being part of a system that is artificial scarcity. We're reaching a point. This is a big key moment now in the American soccer landscape. Okay? It is a key moment because US soccer is going to go one of two ways here. They are either going to go the way that we have long said it is, that they are truly in bed with MLS, that they are corrupt, that they are simply the corrupt arm of Major League Soccer, that regulatory capture is full and complete, or U.S. soccer is going to go the other way, and I'll be very surprised if this happens, and demand that MLS continue to participate in the U.S. Open Cup as dictated by the PLS, the professional league standards, which in order to be a professional division in this country, you have to abide by. If they demand that they do it and threaten that they will lose their D1 sanctioning, if they don't do it, then U.S. soccer will once again reestablish itself, at least to a degree, of being the regulatory body for soccer in this country. If they show their belly, if they fold, if the U.S. Open Cup gets canceled, regulatory capture will not only be complete, it will be an open admission that U.S. soccer not only has zero power, but is in fact working to kill lower division soccer in this country and promote MLS LLC, the private entity that wants to kill all lower division soccer in this country and monopolize all of it, not to grow the game, but to monopolize the game to the benefit of the billionaires who own these MLS teams. It is a key moment, guys. Make no mistake. This saga, what will happen, will tell us everything we need to know about MLS and their long history of incestuous relationship with U.S. soccer. So we're going to read the article that broke the report by Michael Batista. Congrats to him. Some excellent reporting from him. And we're just going to break this down and discuss it. But first, how are you guys doing? I know it's been a while. I had to work the last 2 weeks, the last 2 weekends, so I wasn't able to do the top 10. I apologize. Unfortunately, work has to come first because I still have bills to pay. But the next few weeks I am free, so we'll go back to the top 10 starting this coming weekend. And I have another very interesting video coming. We're going to do a live watch along for PSV versus Dortmund in the Champions League tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. I also have another very interesting video coming out about the USMNT this generation breaking a previously held USMNT record. So, wow, we have so much to talk about here. Doing good. Just glad to see you back. You're missed in the community. Thank you, guys. I wish I had more time. I really do. But let's talk about this right now. All right. MLS said to be holding the U.S. Open Cup hostage. I don't know if you guys can read along with me. Let's see. It's a little small, but hopefully you can see. I'll try to make it a little bigger here for everyone's benefit. Is that better? Yeah, that's a bit better, it seems. All right, let's talk about this because we're gonna read it and I'm gonna talk about it as we go along. The 2024 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is at risk of being canceled. The oldest soccer competition in the world, guys, with Major League Soccer and U.S. Soccer set yet to come to a tenable agreement on a format for the tournament. Why is there need to be an agreement? There should be no agreement. These are the rules. You participate. These are the PLS rules. According to multiple sources, the Division I league has the federation held hostage. Those are very, very damning words. Held hostage. And as of Friday, MLS first teams are not participating. MLS is giving the middle finger to U.S. soccer, the regulatory body of soccer in this country, and telling them to go fuck themselves because they don't feel like they need to abide by the rules. This report comes from sources close to the situation, all who wish to remain anonymous. U.S. Soccer and Major League Soccer did not reply to requests for comment for this article. All right, so let's dig into the meat of this. As recently reported by Jeff Reuter of The Athletic, U.S. Soccer and Major League Soccer are currently engaged in near-daily discussions since the start of the year regarding the Open Cup. This followed the league's attempt to pull its teams out of the tournament in mid-December and attempt to replace them with MLS Next Pro side. So remember, back in December, they were like, we're not going to participate. We're going to send basically our academy teams. That plan was supposedly nullified when U.S. Soccer denied MLS's waiver to allow the reserve teams into this tournament. So MLS, at first, U.S. Soccer said no. It was a very weak no, let's be honest. We all remember that. It was like, oh, we denying your waiver. But it wasn't a strong no. There should have been a clear warning. It should have been a, how dare you think you have the right, when it is clearly stated in the PLS standards that you must abide by in order to be a sanctioned Division I league in this country, that you just don't have to abide by the rules. They should have sanctioned them already, even for trying that. But it was a very, very weak, like, hey, guys, we feel like it would be great if you didn't do that. I don't think we can actually. It was very, very weak from U.S. Soccer. All right. That plan was supposedly, all right, MLS Executive Vice President of Sporting Product and Competition, Nelson Rodriguez. Do you guys know who this is? Nelson Rodriguez has been in charge of one of the shittiest organizations in MLS soccer since 2013, the Chicago Fire, who I know well. He ran that team into the ground. Terrible, terrible, terrible team. Terrible sporting director. Year after year after year of failure, and more failure. And what happens? You get a job with U.S. Soccer, because what do we love at U.S. Soccer? Failure. Why do you think we brought Berhalter back? MLS Executive Vice President of Sporting Product and Competition, Nelson Rodriguez, a real scummy slime ball, by the way. I've met the guy. Told reporters that the league has no plans to appeal the decision. They're saying we can't do anything about it. Reuters article goes on to list the potential solutions. They include excluding the teams participating in the ongoing CONCACAF Champions Cup, giving MLS teams the choice to participate with either their first or reserve teams, or for MLS to expand its own roster rules to cut down on player fatigue. And by the way, remember back in December when they said they were going to do this? They went, oh, I'm not, the players are tired, fatigue. Do you know why they're fatigued? Because you added a fake competition, the League's Cup, because you wanted those green bucks, all right, between, U.S. and Mexico first divisions. And you're like, fuck these lower division teams in the United States. We only care about the money, all right? We don't care about the growth of the game. They talk about it like they care about the growth of the game. They do not. They made that very clear. And now we're tired because this fake competition we made up in order to try to get some more money and try to squeeze the juice out of every soccer-loving fan that we can possibly do is better than the U.S. Open Cup, right? So it's nothing to do with fatigue, and I'll talk about that later. Interestingly, Reuters article mentioned that the U.S. Open Cup committee joined the ongoing discussions last week. However, when asked, a member of the committee commented that the committee has been left in the dark from the beginning of the MLS announcement. So U.S. Soccer, the governing body, has a committee whose job it is to regulate the U.S. Open Cup. And they have been left completely in the dark about a decision that is exactly their purview, the U.S. Open Cup. All right. Let's continue. That committee member noted that they and fellow member David Applegate, the U.S. Soccer Director of Competitions, were not included in the Open Cup talks at last week's annual general meeting, AGM, in Dallas, Texas. It's nothing to do with that. That's a fake committee. That committee is not even involved in the discussions. You know why? Because the commissioner of MLS, Mr. Don Garber, sits on the board of U.S. soccer and has massive, massive influence in what U.S. soccer does. And just until very recently, so did Carlos Bocanegra, who was the chief of Atlanta United, their sporting director. The AGM included proposals for the Open Cup from Major League Soccer, USL, and the Adult Soccer Council, the latter of which included a stipulation that all 32 amateur teams in the tournament play a professional team. That one also included MLS entering 10 teams in the round of 32. So it sounds like there were different proposals for this year's format. So according to Chris Kessel, who I've had on the channel before, he's a great guy and a great proponent of an open system. Open Cup Committee made a proposal, USA made a proposal, USL made a proposal, and MLS made a proposal. Line in the sand from Open Cup Committee. All 32 amateur teams will play against pro teams. Right now, that looks like it is going to happen. MLS did not like either party's proposal because they still included the involvement of the majority of first teams. Despite the waiver rejection by U.S. Soccer, the federation still appears to be on the back heel. They have zero power, guys. They have zero power against MLS. Arthur Blank is just giving U.S. Soccer, donating $50 million to U.S. Soccer in order for them to build their new training center in Atlanta. Donating. How can you donate, right? How can a private entity donate money to the regulatory body that is supposed to be regulating the existence and the proliferation of that private entity? It would be like if Ford decided that they were going to donate $50 million to the Department of Motor Vehicles, the DMV. Okay? 1 year. We'd love to donate this money. We think the DMV is doing a great job. Then next year, Ford comes out and says, we are no longer going to abide by the Department of Motor Vehicles standard for emissions and pollutions because we don't feel like it. It costs too much money to abide by those standards. So we're just not going to do it. And the Department of Motor Vehicles comes out and goes, well, we're negotiating with Ford. We'd love for them to abide by our standards, but we're gonna really try here, guys. It is a complete regulatory capture. That is what's been happening with U.S. soccer and MLS for years. And I've been saying this, and Dak has been saying this, and lots of you guys have been saying this too. All right. Despite the waiver, while Division I sanctioning guidelines require MLS to compete in the Open Cup, it's in the rules. Desanctioning it would have a huge butterfly effect, including, ironically, aiding the North American Soccer League in its ongoing antitrust lawsuit. So the NASL, the former NASL, which is now defunct, has a antitrust lawsuit against U.S. soccer. Okay, and they have that because of sanctioning. They're saying that the sanctioning is not fair because MLS and U.S. soccer are in bed together, and it looks like they are right. There is also the simple fact that if the tournament is canceled, MLS cannot be desanctioned for not participating in it. So rather than doing what they should do, desanctioning MLS for refusing to follow the PLS rules, right? Instead, they're just going to cancel the entire tournament altogether. The oldest soccer tournament in this country, the only soccer tournament in this country that truly is based on merit, and the tournament that many, many lower division teams rely on for a significant portion of their income. So by canceling it, they would be actively trying to kill lower division soccer in this country if U.S. soccer cancels this tournament. And MLS would be not only complicit, but the architect of that demise. That's how serious this is right now, guys. That's how serious. MLS, it's nothing to do with fatigue. It's nothing to do with playing too many games. If they wanted to do that, you could rest players for the Open Cups, like many MLS teams do, and like teams in England do sometimes with the FA Cup. They might rest key starters. Maybe you rest your DPs or your TAM players, and you give some of your, younger players or your backups. I am fine with that if you want to rest players. Okay? But it's not about resting players, and it's not about fatigue. Because if they did that, they wouldn't have started the League's Cup if they really cared about resting players and fatigue. What this is about is killing lower division soccer in this country so that MLS can swoop in and have a full monopoly in this country. Complete regulatory capture of the U.S. Soccer Federation and complete regulatory capture of all soccer in this country, that it would be run by billionaires, the vast majority of whom do not give a flying fuck about the proliferation and the growth of grassroots soccer in this country. It is a business. It is a monetary thing for them. This is how serious this is, guys. I am not being hyperbolic here. They have shown their hand, and U.S. Soccer is currently showing their belly. USL tells teams situation is bleak. This week, the United Soccer League held an emergency Board of Governors meeting. There, according to a source with direct knowledge of the events, members were presented a proposal regarding the Open Cup business model. This included how costs would be split, with less game day revenue staying with the USL teams. The number being floated was a 60-40 revenue split for any match in which an MLS team traveled to a lower division opponent. So get this. They want to travel. Let's say LA Galaxy wants to travel to Orange County Soccer Club. They want to travel there and play a game there. And Orange County, because it's a bigger team with some bigger name players coming in, they can sell out that stadium now. Okay? And currently, the away team does not get a percentage of gate revenues for Open Cup games. Yeah, they'll get some TV revenues, but they don't get any gate revenues. MLS doesn't get that, okay? That's how it should be. This is a way to grow the game for USL to keep their own gate revenues at their own home stadium, God forbid. But MLS is saying, we want 60% of your gate. So when we are traveling over there, we want 60% of the tickets that your fans are paying to come watch you, because they're saying the only reason they're coming to watch is for us. MLS is not interested in the growth of the game in the lower divisions. They are not interested in the thriving of USL. Why do you think they've been going into markets like St. Louis and San Diego and trying to kill USL teams there? It's so ridiculously obvious. The only deductions for host teams, especially lower leagues ones, is the hosting fee set by U.S. Soccer and a percentage of revenue less a deductible. For context, in the current format, away teams receive travel reimbursement from U.S. Soccer. The proposal also included a format which was described as very favorable to MLS teams. This format could not be confirmed. However, a source within U.S. Soccer claimed MLS wanted to enter 8 teams only into the competition and have them come in during the round of 16. The last time this sort of format happened was the 2011 U.S. Open Cup. The last year MLS teams went through qualifying for the tournament. So the last time it happened, they actually had to win games to qualify for this tournament. They want a free pass for a third or a fourth of their teams to go into the knockout rounds, and then they want all of the revenue. Jesus Christ. Unsurprisingly, the USL members rejected the proposal. Later in the week, USL held additional meetings with teams directly, specifically those that were in the US Open Cup, to inform them of the ongoing situation. Many left the meeting feeling that Major League Soccer will pull out of the tournament and US Soccer will cancel the tournament. So rather than US Soccer abiding by the PLS standards that they themselves have set and which they have used to keep many teams out of the American soccer pyramid, which is not a pyramid at all, instead of abiding by their own rules, they would rather cancel the tournament and hurt hundreds of lower division clubs, maybe not hundreds, but dozens at least, dozens of lower division clubs because of their special relationship with Major League Soccer. According to a source, USL told teams they should leave the current schedule, including the current Open Cup windows, alone and discuss changes to the Open Cup starting in 2025. Some did feel the event would go on with MLS Next Pro teams after all. Pro teams are their academy teams, okay? Making sense of the madness. Following the initial announcement in December, I wrote a column saying MLS is backing out of the US Open Cup for 2 reasons: money and control. According to sources, I was right. A source close to the USL side of the situation has said Major League Soccer is not looking for a true solution to the Open Cup problem. Despite saying player fatigue and schedule congestion are the main issues, the league and its player association refuse to change roster rules to allow more players. Additionally, the demand changes to the tournament are so extreme they won't be considered practical. Instead, the league wants the competition either fully gone or not given any spotlight, i.e., by using reserve teams. The source noted MLS's frustration with the closing gap between the two entities on the field and in the front offices. So MLS is getting scared of the growth of USL. Many USL teams have been making historic transfers to Europe, one of which was Orange County SC's record transfer fee, sending defender Kobe Henry to French club Stade de Reims. Coincidentally, not long after, a Major League Soccer team tried unsuccessfully to kick Orange County out of its stadium for its reserve teams. Remember that? The LA Galaxy tried to kick out Orange County SC, and thankfully they were not able to win. But that was right after. USL is making big steps. USL is challenging. They are developing players. They are gaining interest. In an environment that is designed to hurt them, they are still doing okay. They are thriving. Thriving might be extreme, but they are definitely, considering the circumstances that they're in, the inability to move up and the constantly being thwarted by Major League Soccer and U.S. Soccer, they're doing pretty good. While MLS Executive Vice President of Sporting Product and Competition, Nelson Rodriguez, one of the scummiest slime balls involved in American soccer and a complete failure of a sporting director when he was involved with Chicago Fire, told reporters that the fear of losing did not play into the first teams wanting to forego the Open Cup at a press conference following their waiver rejection. A few in USL disagree, and there is some evidence to their point. In the last 3 Open Cup tournaments, USL Championship has had 2 quarterfinalists in 2019, a finalist in 2022, and 2 quarterfinalists in 2023. If MLS Next Pro teams took the place of first teams, it's a win-win for Major League Soccer. The league would get to fulfill its public goal of allowing younger players a chance to develop by competing against professional teams. At the same time, the move would rob any spotlight from the lower division teams and has the potential bonus of a reserve team getting a win or 2. In the end, though, it seems Major League Soccer's goal is clear: to split with the U.S. Open Cup. And not just to split with the U.S. Open Cup, but to actively try to kill USL. That is the goal of Major League Soccer. It's been very apparent for the longest time. And this decision is the one that's caused them to come bubbling to the surface. This decision has caused it to come bubbling to the surface. Okay? That is the situation as it stands. Thank you, Michael Batista, for your great reporting. I don't know if he's on Twitter or not, but if you want to go check that out. But yes, that's great reporting. And then the plot thickens. Today, let me share this on Twitter, by Jeff Carlisle. At least good for him for reporting this. I'm just going to share the screen here so you guys can also see it. All right. So this is Jeff Carlisle here. We're going to make this a little larger for y'all. Can confirm that Arthur Madison has resigned as the chairman of the USSF's U.S. Open Cup Committee. He said he was asked to stand down by higher-ups on multiple occasions in terms of finding a solution as it relates to MLS participation. Says the Cup is in grave danger. So the guy who's responsible, the guy who is responsible for the U.S. Open Cup competition in U.S. soccer has been told by his bosses to stand down in terms of trying to find a solution. U.S. soccer is not trying to find a solution, it seems. They're more interested in catering to doing whatever MLS wants. Guys, this is a big, big moment, like I've said before, in the American soccer landscape. Are we going to kneel to the billionaires and let them have their way and let them kill lower division soccer in this country, or are we going to stand up? Because it's the only thing that they're going to pay attention to. The only power that you and I have in this situation is our wallets and our eyeballs. Those are the two things that they fear more than anything. It's easy to feel powerless. It's easy to feel like I don't have any power in this situation. These decisions are being made above my head, and that is true. But if you start boycotting MLS, don't buy their ridiculously overpriced $200 jerseys, don't pay for MLS season pass, don't buy tickets or go to the games. If enough people do that, along with some pretty sustained fan protests, we have seen that they back down. What did the LA Galaxy fans do last year? What did they do? They told LA Galaxy, we're not coming to the games anymore until you get rid of the sporting director. And they stuck with it. And they stuck with it for a few months. And it was an emptier stadium and there was no atmosphere. And what happened? The LA Galaxy caved. That's example number one. Let's look at example number two. Sporting Kansas City hired a known abuser, Gavin Wilkinson, or not an abuser. Let me be very clear. He was in an environment in the Portland Thorns where he perpetuated a situation where abuse was condoned and even recommended a known abuser after he was already kicked out of the team, recommended him for other jobs. Okay? This man, Gavin Wilkinson, was fired from the Portland Timbers and Thorns organization for that. What did Sporting KC do? They tried to hire him as their sporting director. And what did the SKC fans do? They protested. They said, we're not going to have anything to do with this anymore until you get rid of this guy. And what happened? Sporting KC backed down. Fans absolutely have a voice. But more than your voice, it is your wallet and your eyeballs that matter to them the most. And when you withdraw those and you make it known why you are withdrawing those, then you are very powerful. We are very powerful because that is all they care about, our money and our eyeballs. Okay? When you withdraw those and you make it clear why, change can happen. I will not be paying for MLS season pass this year. I won't be buying MLS jerseys. I will be instead throwing my support behind my nearest USL team. That is Orange County SC. I will be buying their jersey. I will be probably becoming a season ticket holder there and throwing my support behind the lower division of soccer in this country because I don't want to give my money. I was going to do the MLS season opener. I was going to do a live watch along for RSL versus Inter Miami on Wednesday. I thought it'd be an interesting game. Obviously, you've got Inter Miami with Messi, and then you've got Diego Luna, a young American prospect who might have a very good season, right? I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. I can't support this. I cannot anymore support an organization that is trying to kill lower division soccer in this country and have a monopoly on soccer. And on top of all the other terrible things that they do, the ridiculous roster rules, the laundry list of crimes that MLS has committed against soccer in this country is well documented. But this is really the final straw. I cannot support this, and I'm sad because I actually was hoping that the Chicago Fire, a team that I really kind of had an emotional attachment to because of my years in Chicago and all the years that I went to Bridgeview and supported them. I thought they might be good this year. They made some really good signings in, Acosta and Hugo Kuiper. Like, I was like, okay, maybe the Fire could be fun to support this year. But I can't. I cannot, in all good conscience, support this league that is trying to kill these teams. So I'm sorry. I'm going to throw my support behind my local USL team, which is closest to me, which is Orange County SC. If anybody here is involved with Orange County SC, let me know. I'd love to come and see your games, come participate, maybe even make a video about the club, try to promote USL instead of, MLS, who is really doing everything they can to kill soccer in this country and to monopolize it. And again, if enough of us make our voices heard, when enough of us withdraw our supports, our wallets, our eyeballs, then that is the only way that they will listen. That is the one good thing about greedy, money-grubbing parasites, is that when you take away the thing that they love most, they will do absolutely anything to get it back. And that even means caving on their strong positions. Let's see what U.S. soccer does now. The gauntlet is thrown, U.S. Soccer. And I'll end on this before I do the ad, and then we'll call this a day, or maybe I'll read some super chats as well. But the gauntlet has been thrown. What are you going to do, U.S. Soccer? Are you going to confirm in the eyes of the whole country and indeed the whole world that regulatory capture has been complete and total? That you are nothing more than the corrupt arm of MLS LLC? Or are you going to stand firm? Are you going to demand that MLS play in this tournament? Are you going to threaten that you remove their D1 status sanctioning? If they don't, are you going to risk the $50 million that Arthur Blank is giving you to build a new training center in Atlanta? What are you? Are you the regulatory governing body of soccer in this country, or are you a massive shill for the billionaires that try to keep you afloat and try to buy you out? U.S. Soccer gets to decide now, and their next steps will tell us everything we need to know about the relationship. If I had to put my money on something, I'm going to say that U.S. Soccer will cave and cancel the Open Cup. And if that is the case, that will be probably the saddest day in American soccer history, even sadder than when we didn't qualify for the World Cup in 2018. Even sadder, because it will be a confirmation that grassroots soccer is dead in this country. It will be a confirmation that growth from the ground up is impossible, and that the billionaires that own and run MLS will do everything they can to kill any kind of competition or merit or sporting accountability in this country. And that will be the big problem. And I hope that a lot of you will join me in no longer supporting MLS by spending money on MLS specifically, right? That means MLS season pass, that means jerseys, that means season tickets. If you can get a refund on your season ticket, try that. I don't know if you can, but if you can, that is the problem, then try that. But mostly call your club, call your organization, tell them, say, I can't get behind this. I'm sorry. I want the Open Cup. I will not be attending your League's Cup games. I will not be going to your games, paying for MLS season pass, buying your overpriced jerseys. I cannot in all good conscience support this very blatant and corrupt attempt to kill lower division soccer in this country. All right, let's read a couple of super chats. Boycott League's Cup. Where can we watch USL? Very, very good question. I think it's still on ESPN Plus, but let me double check that. Yes, ESPN Plus. If you have ESPN Plus, you can watch USL games, okay? You can watch USL games on ESPN Plus. Spencer Doherty says, thank you for speaking out. Much love from a USL fan, Indy 11. We appreciate you. No problem, Spencer. And if I come to India, I don't go to Indianapolis, but when I come to Chicago, maybe I'll try to attend a Chicago House game while I'm there instead of a Chicago Fire game, because I go to Chicago a lot for work. So hit me up if you are a Chicago House AC member or a fan. Maybe we'll go together to the game and I'll buy a ticket and try to give my support to you. But for now, while I live in Southern California, I will be supporting Orange County SC, Orange County Soccer Club in Irvine, California. What up, man? Says, I'm a San Antonio fan in USL. Joel D says, no, more USL games will be on Paramount Plus now. There still might be some on ESPN Plus. Oh, USL is on Paramount Plus now. I'm sorry. It says here that it's on ESPN Plus. Oh, no. From 2024, okay, misinformation, Pete. From 2024, USL games will be available to watch live exclusively on CBS across CBS Sports Network, Paramount Plus, and CBS Sports Galazzo. Fake news before. It is not on ESPN Plus. It is on Paramount Plus and CBS Sports Galazzo, okay? U.S. Cup is our only soccer culture that we have. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next week. Be very interesting to see what they do, what U.S. soccer does now. The gauntlet has been thrown. The challenge to their authority has been made. Are they going to show their belly, or are they going to stand firm? Time will tell. Let's have our favorite ad.
Fantasy Sports is back with a new and improved pick'em game across all sports that makes it easy to play fantasy sports with just a few clicks. Each sport allows you to build a parlay that includes between 2 and 5 predictions about the outcomes of player projections. As you would expect, the more picks you include, the greater the potential payout. Don't go crazy with it and play responsibly, but adding a few bucks here and there to a game gives it a little more excitement and stakes. Use my promo code 11YANKS or click the link in the description to start playing, and Underdog will match whatever you put in your account up to $100. Enjoy!
So let me give you an example about this, okay? I am currently, Everton versus Crystal Palace is playing right now, okay? And this is, I made some picks for this game with my pick'em, and I'll show you my picks. Hang on. I had to pick them. No, I want live. Live pick'em. Hang on. Did I not play this? I thought I played it. Oh, I didn't click play? Ah, shit. It's too late. I thought I clicked play. All right. Well, anyways, I had some good thing. I just forgot to click play. But I had, an example of something that could have been cool. Because damn it, I forgot to click play. Oh, well, for the next time. But yes, they will match you up to $100. Thank you, Underdog Fantasy, for sponsoring this stream. Thank you guys for showing up. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do as far as like what I think you should do, but I think you should listen to your own conscience. I get that it can be hard if you've been a fan of an MLS team for a long time and you have an emotional attachment to that team. It's hard to not go to games, especially at the beginning of the season where it's been 4 or 5 months that you've not had games and you're probably excited for the start of I was excited about what the Fire could do this year. It's hard to say I'm not going to do that because I can't support what MLS is doing right now. But at the very least, please, even if you can't stop yourself from going to games, and even if you already bought the jersey or whatever, could you do one thing? Call your season ticket rep and express your opinion. Say, I want to attend U.S. Open Cup games. I don't want this boycott. I don't want this, what's happening. I don't agree with it. It's anti-accountability. It's anti-sporting merit. It's anti-everything that the U.S. Open Cup should stand for and what we should stand for as a soccer community. So at least do that. Then at least you've made your voice heard. But the best way to make your voice heard, guys, is to withdraw your money in your wallet. Thank you, everybody. Let's read a couple of chats here. Pete, just hear me out. Stop following the Fire. I don't think I'm going to be able to this year. Right? Nervosos, U.S. Soccer, butthurt that MLS insisting on higher standards. They are not insisting on higher standards. They are not doing anything to fix it. They are pulling out of it altogether, leveraging fans to cry about it. Sounds like you're the one crying here. You got billionaire. You're crying for billionaires there, Nervoso. Pete, tell everyone to post hashtag Save the Open Cup. That's another thing you can do. If you're on Twitter or Instagram, use the hashtag Save the Open Cup. Time for the Everton Palace watch along. I can't do a full watch along because I still have other stuff to do today. But tomorrow, guys, I will be on Dortmund versus PSV in the Champions League. Remember what happened when they tried this in Europe, when they tried to take away sporting merit and sporting competition for the Super League, and the fans revolted and they had to pull back. American soccer fans have to show our strength now, right? Tomorrow we will go to the Champions League. Dortmund versus PSV. 3 Americans on PSV. At least one will probably start. Dest, possibly another, Malik Tillman. So that could be a very, very interesting game. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging. And I'll see you all soon. Hashtag Save the Open Cup.